In every war, in every plague, in every disaster that has shaken our world, there have always been two battles, one for power, the other for life. This is the story of the second battle. It is the story of hands that do not hold swords but bandages, of voices that do not shout orders but whisper comfort, of men and women who walk into fire, into sickness, into despair, not to conquer but to care. From the mud-soaked hospitals of Crimea to the bloodied battlefields of the Civil War. From plague-stricken villages in Manchuria to the burning skies of World War. From the streets of Selma to the fever wards of Ebola and COVID-19, a hidden army has stood watch over humanity. Florence Nightingale, Mary Seacole, Clara Barton, Wu Lien-tai, Edith Cavell, Carlo Urbani, Li Wenliang, famous names and countless forgotten ones. Their weapon was compassion, their shield courage, their legacy, the truth that saving a single life is as heroic as saving a nation. This is not the story of war or empire. This is the story of the courage to care. 1854, in the winter shadows of the Crimean War. British soldiers weren't dying from enemy bullets. They were dropping like flies from infections, dysentery and cholera in hospitals that were basically death traps. The mortality rate was 42%. 42% of patients were dying just from being in the hospital. Two women walked into the most deadly place on earth and revolutionized medicine forever. The Crimean War hospitals were killing more soldiers than the actual war. Men were dying from infections, disease and pure neglect in conditions so filthy that rats outnumbered patients. Florence Nightingale, the lady with the lamp. Born in 1820 to a wealthy British family, Florence defied her upbringing to pursue nursing. Arrived at Scutari Hospital in 1854 and was absolutely horrified. Bodies were stacked like firewood, wounds were crawling with maggots, and the death rate was 42%. But Florence wasn't just some rich lady playing nurse. She was a mathematical genius who started tracking every single death and realized something shocking. Most soldiers weren't dying from battle wounds. They were dying from preventable diseases caused by filth. She immediately implemented hand-washing protocols, forced proper ventilation, and demanded clean bedding. The soldiers called her the lady with the lamp because she'd walk the wards at night with her lantern, checking on patients. But she wasn't just being kind. She was conducting the first real scientific study of hospital mortality, using data to revolutionize medicine. She was collecting data, calculating mortality rates, and proving with cold, hard statistics that cleanliness saves lives. Within 6 months, she dropped the death rate from 42% to 2%. 2%. She literally invented evidence-based medicine while everyone else was still bleeding patients with leeches. Meanwhile, Mary Seacole, the forgotten heroine of the front lines, thousands of miles away, another woman prepared her journey. A Jamaican Scottish woman, a healer and businesswoman, Mary Seacole was rejected by Nightingale's team, likely due to racism. Undeterred, she traveled to Crimea on her own and built the British Hotel near Balaclava. Part hospital, part refuge, where soldiers found food, medicine, and kindness. She was often found on the battlefield, administering medicine under fire, treating soldiers with traditional Caribbean remedies that actually worked. But history mostly forgot about her because she was black. Florence didn't just save lives in Crimea. She came back to England and completely revolutionized healthcare. She established the first professional nursing school, wrote detailed reports on hospital reform, and basically invented modern nursing as we know it. Florence Nightingale and Mary Seacole, two women, worlds apart, bound by a single truth, that care itself is a weapon against despair. One carried a lamp, the other carried her heart. Together they changed the course of medicine forever.